Yes, you can. A podcast for high achievers. Hi, I'm Tammy North. I'm the owner of the Genuine Driven Women brand of businesses. The goal of this podcast is to help you become the best that you can be. Don't ever doubt the power you have to make the world a better place. Yes, you can make a difference. I'm releasing this episode the week of Thanksgiving 2020, and in just a little more than 5 weeks, you're going to be ringing in the new year. As 2020 finally fades into our memory, thank goodness, due to COVID, if you're like me, then you can't be with most of your important friends or family this year. And, in most years, Thanksgiving is usually my very favorite holiday. I thought about it a few years ago, and I realized that the reason I love Thanksgiving so much is because it's still one of those holidays that seems to be only about family and just being grateful for your life and those that you love. And to me, that's so wonderful. And it doesn't have all the commercialism around it, and you don't have to decorate a bunch of things, and it's just kind of cozy, and I just love it. Thanksgiving has been my favorite holiday for a really long time, but I just sort of really admitted that to myself in the past couple years. And after spending so many years in the military and basically growing up in the military, then I'm also the first one to understand that family often means a very special group of friends who are closer than blood family at times. So no matter who you spend Thanksgiving with this year, whether they're near or far, I am wishing you the happiest Thanksgiving. And I am so thankful for all the time that we've had together so far. And I look forward to everything that we can work on together in the future. Happy Thanksgiving, my friend. And then as we head into the Christmas season and toward the new year, you will find yourself thinking about what really matters in life, especially with everything that's happened in 2020, with the pandemic, the movement toward a more inclusive society, and the election. You might be wondering if you're making a difference in this world at all. You might be wondering what you can do to make the world a better place. And as you think about the difference you're trying to make, and if you are indeed fulfilling your life's purpose, then my question to you is this: are you creating something worth leaving behind? Are you creating a life's legacy that you'll be proud to leave to future generations? Are you working towards something that will ripple across future generations like a positive wave, like a gift that keeps on giving? If you're not sure, or if you know that really the answer is no, not really, not right now, that you haven't really been working on anything specific, I mean, you kind of think of it, but no, you're not really doing anything, then let me get you started thinking about it like this. How do you want to be remembered? Do you want to be remembered as somebody who put constant positive ripples out into the world? This could be in a completely subtle but very important way, like being a great mom or a great teacher. Maybe you change people's lives one at a time. Your legacy could be that you will always be remembered for teaching a child how to love or how to dream big. Maybe you gave the gift of lifelong learning to thousands of children across your life. Maybe you do charitable work for a nonprofit, or even work as a leader within a nonprofit, or maybe a religious organization, and you impact people who need help in all kinds of ways across your community or even globally. Maybe you found a niche at work. Maybe you teach leadership, productivity. Maybe you lead diversity changes. Maybe you help develop women to be great leaders. I've actually heard from a few of you who are writing books in your area of expertise. Doing something like writing a book or developing any product, like a blog, a course, a podcast, or any similar product that shares your knowledge for others to learn and grow from, is a very clear example of developing something that could live on long after you're gone. So for those of you who take the time to put that kind of energy out into the world, thank you. I talked to a very good friend of mine a few days ago. He's a friend I've worked with for over 10 years. And we were just having a random work-related conversation. But then, because he kind of knows my passion in the world, then he shared his vision statement with me that he had written a long time ago. And that was really cool that he chose to do that. One of the key tenets for him in his vision statement is that he wanted to enable people around him to become leaders themselves. And then essentially that those leaders that he mentored would become his legacy and he would live on through them. And he showed his vision statement to me when I was in the middle of writing this podcast. And I just felt like it's one of those things where the universe kind of shows you that you're going in the right direction. So that was a pretty cool moment I had this week. Now I want to tell you that even if you feel like your life has been full of nothing but challenges and struggles to this point, that I want you to allow me to give you just one more challenge. What have you learned, and in what ways have you grown from the hardships that you've gone through or the mistakes that you've already made to this point? What do you know now that you wish you had known sooner? Do you see a clear path for others? One that you wish somebody had showed you earlier? If this is the case for you, then this is an example of work that you can do to help others. And this work is something that you can develop into a legacy that you're proud to leave behind. I read a story in the newspaper a while back about a man who had gone to prison for many years. And when he got out, it was hard to find a job. Finally, he did find a job as a personal trainer. And since CrossFit had been one of the things that he learned in prison, which taught him that he was capable of anything he set his mind on, that eventually he even opened his own CrossFit studio, and now he finds joy in helping others grow strong and healthy so they can live and spend more time with their grandkids. Now that's a pretty cool story now that we know he's here, but he was in prison for 10 years or more. And there were probably times when he was sitting in prison, he may have wondered, what would people think about him? What would people say about him when he died? Would they even care? When he left this earth, would anybody even care that he had ever lived at all? After reading the article and watching a video about him, he has definitely changed his life. And now he's giving back in so many ways. He is building a legacy. People will remember him. And definitely you can go back to thinking about him as a man in prison. At any moment, his life could have gone either direction, but he made a very clear and determined path to turn it around. And his story is exactly the kind of thing that I'm talking about when I talk about building a legacy, when I talk about something worth leaving behind. I tell you his story because no matter what has happened to you, or no matter the decisions you made that went wrong, and no matter how bad or mediocre your life might seem, it is never too late to decide to become the you that you always wanted to be. You can decide today that there is something you've been wanting to do, an impact you want to have, a topic you care so much about, and then you can do something about it. One day, I just decided that I wanted to do more to help women grow. I wanted them to be able to grow in their careers. I wanted to talk to the small town girls out there on the plains of Colorado, and I wanted to tell them that they can have better lives. I wanted to tell them that they can dream the biggest dream that they can imagine, and they can make it come true. So I started a blog, and then that blog morphed into this podcast, and that's only growing and growing. And my passion and my mission continue to grow, and my ideas to help these women around the world, women across the United States. And as my ideas grow and my inspiration flows, trust me, there is much more to come. The more I try, the more I learn, the more I want to do. I feel absolutely compelled to do this work. Some days it feels like the words just seem to come from somewhere else, like I'm just a vessel, like it's just pouring out into the world. But don't look at where I am today and how far I've come in the name of my passion. Think about something that you really care about and choose a focus that aligns with who you are. And then just start. Just start. Start talking about it, start volunteering, start writing. Just even if you're just writing it in a journal and you're not sharing it with anybody, just start. And for those of you who've already listened to episode 67 of this podcast, the one about virtues, principles, and values, then perfect. But if you haven't, I want to let you know that I created a worksheet for you in episode 67. You can go to the show notes in episode 67 and you can download it there. But that worksheet will help you get very good clarity on your own personal values. If you go back and listen to that episode and you do the worksheet, you'll be surprised at how much clarity you'll get around who you want to be and how you want to be living your life. And once you are clear on how you want to be living your life and what matters to you most, it'll be much more clear about why you need to be doing the work that will build the legacy you want to leave. Okay, I have a couple more really important things to discuss before we get to this week's activity, so hang in there with me. But in order to go out into the world and create a positive impact, you do have to believe that you can and will create the impact that you want to have. There is something that you feel in your soul, something that your special mix of talents bring to the world that's different and special from everybody else. When you identify this, you'll see that this is your value, that this is what you have to give, that this is the key to your legacy. So before you start this week's activity, I want you to just think about who you want to be at the end of your life. Meditate, write, journal, doodle, mind map, whatever you need to do to get yourself thinking about what's possible and even ideal for you. Think about the best version of the future you. Think about it so clearly and so intensely that it's like it already happened. And then the last thing before we jump into the exercise is that if you truly want to leave a legacy that will live on and on after you're gone, then your mission must also be to bring others with you along the way. In other words, what are you going to do to help others rise in some way? If all the efforts you are working are for fully selfish purposes, then it will show and you may not be remembered in the way you're hoping. You will not leave a legacy that creates positive ripples for generations. The only way to truly create a positive impact like this is to do everything you do with a good heart. Do it with a genuinely good mission in mind, and do it through collaboration and generosity for those you're trying to help. Okay, so let's get on with the activity I've been talking about. So today, I want you to take a few minutes and imagine your largest vision of life. Imagine that the thing that you could want the most, the biggest impact you can imagine making has actually become a reality. You are making the biggest impact to make the world a better place in your own special way. Now really focus on the highest potential version of you. Once you have that set in your mind, what we're going to do is I want you to write a newspaper article that you would like somebody to publish after you have died about your life and the way you lived and the legacy you left behind for future generations. So this is not really an obituary because I don't want you to go back and don't write all those details, but just write, if somebody were going to write a biographical sketch about you, then what would they actually say? And what would you want them to say? Just, a paragraph, maybe two. I'll give you an example. I'll read the one I wrote for you. Tammy was a best-selling author, a podcaster, a speaker, and the CEO of Tammy North and Company, a multi-million-dollar business that she designed from the ground up, coaching and inspiring others to design the life and career of their dreams. From her early life as a shy, small-town farm girl on the Colorado Plains, through a successful 23-year career as an active-duty sailor and a naval officer, to a very successful career as a civil servant working for the United States Navy. She learned the value of vision, personal values, and grit. Her North Star, her vision, was bright, and with strong beliefs lighting her path, her unstoppable determination, and her work ethic, she created an entire movement whose goal was to empower women to dream bigger than they ever have before and to make those dreams into reality. Her work directly impacted millions of women around the world by instilling the strong belief and motivation to design an incredible life's legacy of their own and to create positive change in their own special way. She will live on through the vision she had for the world and the body of work that she leaves to future generations. Her daughter Adelaida has taken the helm of her business for the next generation. Okay, so that's my newspaper article. So after you write your newspaper article, something like that, whatever your dream is, whatever your vision is, then I want you to think, okay, that's how somebody decided they were going to write a newspaper article for you after you've moved on and gone to heaven. So how did you become that person? So I want you to write down now the steps that you took to become that person. Write them down in the past tense, like they already happened. Like you are literally the person who was standing there at the end of your life, and that was your reality. For instance, the reality I just read for myself. As you look back between where you are now and where you are then, what did you do to become that person? So for me, it would be 1, she released a podcast every week without fail. 2, she had amazing women as guests on her podcast who were aligned with her vision and that she could collaborate with in order to make an even bigger impact together. 3, she wrote and published 12 books. 4, she designed complimentary signature courses for each book. 5, she conducted group and individual transformation packages to directly help others make their dreams into reality. 6, she was interviewed by Oprah Winfrey due to the impact that she was having on the world. And 7, she spoke at events around the world whose purpose was to spread the message that you are worthy. You are here for a larger purpose, and it is possible to design the life and world you are dreaming about. Okay, I wrote this newspaper article and those high level 7 steps in about 20 minutes. So you could do the same thing. And it's kind of amazing how it makes you feel if you write a newspaper article like this. This is my plan. This is my dream. This is the legacy that I want to leave this world when my time here is complete. So imagine your life, imagine your legacy, and think about the world you want to leave behind. What is the best version of your life? And what is the impact that you want to have on the world? What if we all focus on that eventuality as we head into the holidays and as we start off 2021? What if we spent more time thinking about what we could make better rather than on everything that seems so wrong? Just imagine what a wonderful world that would be. All it takes is each one of us deciding that today we are going to do our part. Are you ready to do something worth leaving behind? You can connect with us on Facebook at Genuine Driven Women, or to learn more about what we offer, check out genuinedrivenwomen.com.